A great statesman, a father of the nation, a friend, colleague, comrade, and all-round leader. Today, South Africa and the world mourns the death of Nelson Mandela. He was born Rolihlahla Mandela on the 18th of July 1918 in the small village of Mvezo of the Tembu dynasty. He then later moved to Qunu, where he still has a home today. Rolihlahla means pulling a branch from a tree, or more colloquially, meaning troublemaker. Oh, and what a troublemaker he proved to be for the then apartheid government. At age 7, after herding cattle in his early years, Rolihlahla was the first member of his family to attend school, where he was given the name Nelson after a British Admiral, Horatio Nelson, by a teacher who could not pronounce his native name.
When I went to school, the lady teacher, Miss Mdingane, asked, "What is your name?" I told him my African name, Rolihlahla. She says, "No, I don't want that one. You must have a Christian name." So I say, "No, I don't have one." She says, from today you are going to be Nelson."
Mandela also attended school at Clarkebury Boarding Institute and later Wesleyan College, where most Tembu royalty attended school. Aged 19, he took an interest in boxing and running. After matriculating, Madiba studied towards a BA degree at the Fort Hare University in the Eastern Cape, where he met lifelong friend and colleague Oliver Tambo. The fear of an arranged marriage led Tata to the City of Gold, where he got his first job as a guard at a mine.
I came to Johannesburg in April 1941, running away from a forced marriage. The girl to whom I was going to get married was in love with justice. So this was a problem for us. We decided to run to Johannesburg.
He then completed his BA degree with the University of South Africa, after which he started his law studies at Wits University. Mandela and Tambo opened a law firm providing free or low-cost legal counsel to many blacks who otherwise would have been without.
Their office was more like a crowded doctor's waiting room than a legal office where people come by appointment. Oliver was the better theoretical lawyer than Nelson, but nobody could really touch Nelson as a trial lawyer whose presence was really felt.
In 1944, he married his first wife, Evelyn Nkogo Mase. The couple had 2 sons and 2 daughters. They broke up in 1957 after 13 years of marriage.
We got married in October and then stayed together. And we had no house as well, because the house was very scarce that time. We were staying with my sister at the City Deep Mines. Nelson was studying, so I got some post at the mines, and I worked there for about a year. And the salary was very low. £7 then that time. It was terrible.
Mandela's second wife, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, also came from the Transkei area. They were blessed with 2 daughters, Zenani and Zinzi. Their much publicized marriage ended in separation in April 1992 and divorce in March 1996, fueled by political estrangement.
I got this phone call. This man said, a very stern voice said, "Is that Miss Madikizela?" I said, "Yes, sir." And then he said, "You may not recall seeing me, but I am the person who usually picks up Dr. Mji at that bus stop where you wait for your bus." Then he told me his name. He wanted to see me. I tried to avoid the meeting, and he is, of course, very persistent, and he has the type of voice you can't say no to. When he asks you for a favor, he is in fact giving you a command.
In 1998, on his 80th birthday, Madiba married Graça Machel, widow of Samora Machel, the former Mozambican president, and ANC ally killed in an air crash 12 years earlier. The two have been together since. Initially committed to non-violent mass struggle, Mandela was arrested with 150 others on the 5th of December 1956 and charged with treason, after which the marathon treason trial followed for the next 5 years.
The treason trial I'll always remember as having something horrific about it. It was very Kafkaesque and alarming. I was amazed by the courage of all the accused, whether it was Tambo, Mandela or Sisulu, because they were so obviously being trapped and caught into this nightmarish procedure, which was designed, of course, specifically to keep them out of politics, to keep them tied up.
In 1961, Mandela became the leader of the ANC's armed wing Umkhonto weSizwe, which was set up to work as a sabotage campaign against military and government targets. On the 5th of August 1962, Mandela was arrested after living on the run for 17 months and was eventually imprisoned in Johannesburg. 3 days later, he was charged with leading workers to strike in 1961 and leaving the country illegally. On the 25th of October of the same year, Mandela was sentenced to 5 years in prison. While imprisoned, police arrested prominent ANC leaders on the 11th of July 1963 at Liliesleaf Farm in Rivonia, just north of Johannesburg. Mandela was brought in at the Rivonia trial. He, together with the others, were charged with sabotage and crimes which were equivalent to treason. In his statement from the dock at the opening of the defense case in the trial on the 20th of April 1964 at the Pretoria Supreme Court, he laid out the clarity of reasoning in the ANC's choice to use violence as a tactic. His statement revealed how his party had used peaceful means to resist apartheid for years until the Sharpeville massacre. He closed his statement with these now famous words:
I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I hope to live for. But my Lord, if it needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die.
Nelson Mandela was imprisoned on Robben Island, where he remained for the next 18 of his 27 years in prison. On the island, he and others performed hard labor in a lime quarry. Prisoners were segregated by race, with black prisoners receiving the fewest rations. Political prisoners were kept separate from ordinary criminals and received fewer privileges. As a D group prisoner, Mandela was allowed one visitor and one letter every 6 months. Letters were often delayed for long periods and made unreadable by the prison censors. After years of secret meetings and negotiations, on the 2nd of February 1990, the then state president F.W. de Klerk unbanned the ANC and other anti-apartheid organizations and announced that Mandela would shortly be released from prison.
Prohibition of the African National Congress, the Pan-Africanist Congress, the South African Communist Party and a number of subsidiary organizations is being rescinded.
Mandela was released from the Victor Verster prison in Paarl on the 11th of February 1990. In 1991, the ANC held its first national conference in South Africa after its unbanning, electing Mandela as president of the organization. His old friend and colleague Oliver Tambo, who had led the organization in exile during Mandela's imprisonment, became the national chairperson. Mandela's leadership through the negotiations, as well as his relationship with President F.W. de Klerk, was recognized when they were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993.
This is not the time for me to speak of our justified grievances of the past. As South Africans, this is the time for us to speak of what is best for the future of our country. Mr. de Klerk and I will continue to be political opponents, I have nevertheless decided to accept the Nobel Peace Prize jointly with him as the gesture of reconciliation.
After negotiations and groundwork by Mandela and other ANC leaders, South Africa saw its first democratic election on Wednesday, the 27th of April 1994. Mandela was inaugurated President of the Republic on the 10th of May 1994, a position which he held until June 1999.
We have triumphed in the effort to implant hope in the breasts of the millions of our people. We enter into a covenant that we shall build a society in which all South Africans, both black and white, will be able to walk tall without any fear in their hearts, assured of their inalienable right to human dignity, a rainbow nation at peace with itself and the world.
He later retired from politics with those now famous words, "Don't call me, I'll call you." Tatas, one of the greatest statesmen the world has ever seen, will be remembered not only for his political contribution to the world, but also for his love for children and their causes. We will remember his selflessness, love, guidance, and humility. How he helped unite South Africa at the Rugby World Cup in 1995 when he walked onto the pitch to lift the William Webb Ellis Trophy wearing Francois Pienaar's famous number 6 jersey. In 2004, he also worked his famous Madiba magic in helping us win the bid to host the 2010 FIFA World Cup and further affirming that sport can bring us together. Mandela also dedicated his life to improving the lives of poor children and communities. As a result, the Nelson Mandela Foundation was born. He also launched the 46664 campaign to help fight the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Madiba lost a son to the disease. In 2007, together with Archbishop Desmond Tutu as world leaders, they formed the Elders, a group that was established to tackle world issues and offer advice on world problems. The world will miss the Madiba jive, Madiba magic, his contagious laugh, his big heart, and the sacrifices he made for our freedom, for human rights, and for our country. Rest in peace, Madiba.
Death is something inevitable. When a man has done what he conceives to be his duty to his people and his country, he can rest in peace. I believe I have made that effort. And that is therefore why I will sleep for the eternity. Never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. The sun shall never set on so glorious a human achievement. Let freedom reign. God bless Africa.
Yeah.